Friends, I am Shubhangi Rohatgi, your biology guide for today, and today we will cover up the remaining portions of chapter 5 Morphology of Plants. In the earlier session that we had on this chapter, we studied about the external structures and features of roots, stems and leaves. We also studied about the modifications that are present in these structures for various purposes, and in the last section we studied about various kinds of inflorescences that are available. I had also given you some exercise questions to solve on your own. I am hopeful that you tried to frame the answers for the same. Well, if you have done so, then I am now going to give you an outline of ideal answers, and if you have not yet completed your exercise, then these outlines will help you to frame the ideal answers. The first question was differentiate between racemose and cymose inflorescence. So, you can base your answer around the determinate and indeterminate growth of the peduncle and also acropetal and basipetal arrangement of flowers. You have to tell which of these inflorescences show determinate or indeterminate growth of the peduncle and what order or of succession is shown by the flowers in each of these inflorescences. Now, the next question was to differentiate between fibrous roots and adventitious roots. Again, while framing your answer, you should point out the presence or absence of primary roots and lateral roots. You should tell in which root the fibrous root or adventitious root primary roots are present and in which they are absent, and you can also make a point telling about the type of plants in which these roots are present, like whether in monocots or dicots will you find fibrous or adventitious roots. Next question was to describe the modifications of stem with suitable example. In the earlier session, we had discussed a lot of modifications of stems. We had studied their functions, their structures and their examples. So, when you frame your answer, you can describe the stems modified for storage of food, for protection, that is in the form of thorns, for support in the form of tendrils and for vegetative propagation, and you should give proper examples while writing and describing each one of these. The last question was how do the various leaf modifications help the plant, and again just as in the previous question you wrote about the stem modifications, here you should describe in brief the leaf modifications for support, that is tendrils, for protection in the form of thorns or spines and for storage of food. Also, do not forget to give examples with each of these descriptions. So, these were the remnants of the last session, and today we will begin with our new topic, the flower. As we know that flower is the reproductive unit of the angiosperms, and we see a fascinating variety of flowers surrounding ourselves. Now, while they may appear to be different, but basically they all have similar structure. They have 4 whorls and each of these whorls perform their specific function. Having said so, I would also underline that there is a great diversity in the structure of flowers that we have present. Basically, what is a flower? I will not be wrong in saying that flower is a modified shoot. The shoot apical meristem changes here into the floral meristem, and internodes do not elongate here, and apex produces different kinds of floral appendages at nodes instead of leaves. Let us see what happens. Suppose this is the shoot apical meristem. In a stem, the shoot apical meristem is profusely covered by the leaf primordia. These leaf primordia help to protect the growing apex of the shoot. So, these are the leaf primordia singular is primordium, and this is the growing shoot apex. It bears the shoot apical meristem. This is in case of a normal stem, a normal shoot. From here the shoot elongates and new leaves are continuously formed. But when this shoot apical meristem has to convert into floral shoot, then what happens? This is modified and the nodes, they come closer because the internodes get smaller, and instead of leaves at these nodes, many different floral appendages arise, so that this whole structure modifies into a flower. I hope you can understand this, that flower arises at the floral shoot where the shoot apical meristem has been modified, the internodes have condensed, and at nodes instead of leaves floral appendages arise. This is how a flower is formed. Now, structure of a typical flower. Each flower has generally 4 whorls, and these are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. This is the figure that is given in your NCERT textbook, but instead of cramming up the figure, let us see for ourselves whether these whorls are really present or not. So, this is a typical angiospermic flower which I have brought here, and you can see at the base of this flower, these are the sepals, the green structures which are protective in nature. The sepals form the outermost whorl of the flower, that is the calyx. It is followed by corolla. Now, what is corolla? Corolla is the whorl of petals. We know that most of the angiospermic flowers have beautiful petals, and their function is to majorly attract the pollinators. So, here we can see this corolla has 5 petals. Let us remove these petals to study the inner whorls more clearly. So, I am going to remove these petals one by one, so that we can have a better look at the inner whorls. Now, we have removed the petals and we can see the androecium. This is very small, let us try to zoom it. Can you see little stamens coming out? These stamens make up for the third whorl, that is the androecium, and inside the androecium is the seat for gynoecium. Let us take a bigger flower for having a better look at the gynoecium. So, I am breaking open this flower to see the gynoecium. Here, in this specimen, you can see this is the stigma, this is the style, and ovary is hidden somewhere beneath this layer. So, this is a typical angiospermic flower. Again, sepals are visible. Sepals make for the outermost whorl, that is the calyx. Then there is corolla, which is composed of petals. Then there is androecium, which is composed of stamens. Stamens are present here. And innermost whorl is the gynoecium, which is composed of the carpel, the stigma, the style, and the ovary. If you can see some watery substance here, don't wonder, it is the nectar that is produced by the ovary. The nectaries are present here, which produce the nectar in the ovary. So, these were the 4 whorls of a flower. Now, when in exam you are asked to describe the 4 whorls of flower, you are not going to dissect it, and to follow a diagram that is given in a book can be quite cumbersome. So, I am going to teach you a simple way to draw a simple angiospermic flower. We will begin with the drawing of the gymnosperm. Let us zoom out so that you can see what I am drawing. Okay. So, while we try to draw the angiospermic flower, we will begin with the drawing of the stigma and the style and the ovary. That is, we draw the carpel first, which forms the innermost whorl of the flower. So, this can be the structure of a typical style, stigma and ovary, that is a typical carpel. Then we will draw some stamens to represent the next whorl, that is the androecium. This is how we can show presence of the second whorl, the androecium. Now, it is the turn for the third whorl, the corolla. Why am I using different colors for drawing? Do I want to simply beautify my drawing? No. In biology, we mostly use colors to make our diagrams color coded. We are using different colors to show different parts so that overlapping lines do not confuse anybody in understanding what is being drawn. So, this was the third whorl, corolla, and it should be followed by the next whorl. Can you name the next whorl? Yes, you are right, it is the calyx. So, this was the calyx, and the flower seats on the thalamus, and thalamus is formed in the continuation of a pedicel. So, here we have easily drawn an angiospermic flower. Let us label it quickly. Corolla, androecium, gynoecium, calyx, the thalamus, and finally the stalk of the flower, which is known as the pedicel, right. Now, this is the most general structure, but as we have discussed earlier that not all flowers are similar. Sometimes it may happen that one or more whorls may be absent from this flower. For example, in case of unisexual flowers, only male or female whorl might be present. In such a case, the flower will have only 3 whorls. Moving ahead, I was talking about modifications. Sometimes it also happens that the calyx and corolla are fused to make a single whorl, and that whorl is known as the perianth. So, the sepals and petals are fused to make tepals. In plants, in flowers in which perianth is visible, obviously we will not be able to see the sepals. I have got this example here. This is a beautiful flower. Can you see the structure of this flower? So, the anthers are visible, they are quite prominent, and these white structures, what are these? Do not hurry in naming them the petals, because look at the bottom of the flower. Can you see any sepals? No, the sepals are not here, right, and only one whorl is present. So, definitely this whorl is that of perianth, and we won't say that these are petals, we will say that these white structures are the tepals, and they make the first whorl, the outermost whorl, that of the perianth. Now talking about the reproductive organ. The calyx and the corolla are the accessory organs. They do not take part in reproduction directly, but they help in the process of reproduction. How? The calyx protects the flower in the bud stage, and the corolla helps to attract the pollinators. The main reproductive organs are present in the inner whorls, that is the androecium and the gynoecium. Androecium is the male whorl and gynoecium is the female whorl. Now let us study some standard definitions. As in the earlier session also, I had told you that morphology is the study and description of external structures and features. So it is imperative that we learn to use proper standard technical terms and definitions. So when all four whorls of the flower are present there, both male and female whorls are also there, the flower is said to be bisexual. The flower which I just had dissected was a bisexual flower. But many a times it happens in many species, in many taxa, only either of the reproductive whorl is present. That is, the flower can be either male or female. I have got one unisexual flower here. Can you identify this flower? It belongs to the family Cucurbitaceae. Now let us study its inner whorl, this whorl. I should zoom in. Okay. Now you can see the inner whorl here, and please notice that only male parts are present here, the stigma or the style are not present. So this is a unisexual flower and this one is a male flower because it carries only the androecium. So the flowers which carry only one reproductive whorl are known as unisexual flowers. Now talking about the symmetry, flowers can be radially symmetrical, and these radially symmetrical flowers are known as actinomorphic. Do you know the meaning of the term radially symmetrical? Well, radially symmetrical means that when you cut this structure in any vertical plane passing through the center of the structure, you will get two equal halves. I repeat, any structure is said to be radially symmetrical when it can be cut in any vertical plane passing through the center, and it can result in production of two equal mirror images. So such a structure is called radially symmetrical. Now letter O is an example of radially symmetrical object. When we talk about bilaterally symmetrical objects, we see that they can be cut in two equal halves only in one vertical plane and not in other. So an object is said to be bilaterally symmetrical when it can be cut into two equal mirror images through only one vertical plane passing through its center. Such a structure is bilaterally symmetrical. So flowers show both type of symmetry. When the flowers are radially symmetrical, they are said to be actinomorphic. You can see they are beautifully radially symmetrical. But when the flowers are bilaterally symmetrical, we say that they are zygomorphic. Here you can see that this flower is not radially symmetrical. You will not get two equal halves if you cut it like this or like this. So these flowers are zygomorphic. I have got an example of zygomorphic flower also. Here you can see these petals are smaller than these petals. So, this flower is also a zygomorphic flower. Moving ahead, some flowers are asymmetrical also, that is, they are neither radially symmetrical nor bilaterally symmetrical. For example, canna. This canna flower is asymmetrical, it is also known as irregular. Talking about tri, tetra or pentamerous flowers. When we have a look at the floral appendages, we see that the floral appendages are present in the multiples of 3, 4 or 5. Accordingly, the flowers are named to be trimerous, tetramerous or pentamerous. Here in this figure you can see there are 6 petals or tepals as I must say. So, this is a trimerous flower. Here there are 4 tepals, 4 anthers. So, this is a tetramerous flower and here you can see beautiful 5 petals of this flower followed by 5 stamens. So, this is a pentamerous flower. Would you like to have a look at a trimerous flower? Look here. Can you count the number of tepals? Let us count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and so is the number of stamens. So, this is a trimerous flower. On the other hand, this one is a beautiful flower which has only 4 tepals, and most of the flowers that we see around are pentamerous. Types of flowers based on the location of ovary. Now, it so happens that sometimes the ovary is seated on the thalamus in such a manner that rest of the organs appear to be arising from below the ovary. This makes the ovary superior. I repeat, here see what is happening. The rest of the appendages, the androecium, the petals, they are arising from the beneath the ovary, from a level which is lower than the ovary. So, the ovary is superior here. Such condition is also known as hypogynous condition. The flowers are known as hypogynous flowers. Hypo means below and gynous represents the female parts. Hypogynous means that the rest of the organs are arising from beneath the ovary or the female part. Example is China rose. In China rose you can find a superior ovary. While in other flowers we say that there is perigynous condition. When there is perigynous condition, the ovary is half inferior. How it happens? It happens when ovary is inserted into the thalamus in such a manner that rest of the organs come to lie at a level which is similar to that of the ovary. They are not at a level below the ovary. They lie at the level which is similar to that of the ovary. So, we say that the ovary is half inferior or perigynous. Lastly, the epigynous flowers where the ovary is inferior. What happens here is that the thalamus grows and covers the ovary completely, so that all the other structures appear to arise from the rim of the thalamus here. Okay. So, here the ovary is completely enclosed by the thalamus and rest of the structures are growing up from here. They are arising from the rim of the thalamus, so that the ovary is inferior and the flower is said to be epigynous. Now, example is guava, but how can you keep on cramming up the examples that China rose has superior ovary or rose has semi inferior ovary or guava has an inferior ovary? It is going to be very difficult if you try to cram up these things, but we can make it easier by having a look at these structures. So, let us try to cut open the flower of a China rose and see the position of the ovary. So, I am dissecting this flower. Firstly, I will pull out some of the petals and sepals also. And then we will try to cut the flower to see the location of the ovary. I have here cut it open and it is here for you to see. This is a vertical section of China rose showing the ovary here. This structure is the ovary and I will zoom in for you. Can you see here? This is the base of the ovary and the other structures, the calyx, the petals, everything is arising from the base of the ovary. So, this makes this ovary superior. Try to dissect as many flowers as you can and find out on your own whether they have superior, inferior or semi-inferior ovaries. This will help you to understand the concept better, and also you will not have to cram up the names of the examples. Now, let us move on with the next topic, that is the parts of a flower. We will study all the whorls of the flowers one by one. Let us begin with the calyx. As I told you that calyx is made up of sepals and the primary function of the sepals is to provide protection to the flower in the bud stage. You must have seen many buds covered totally by the sepals. Here is an example. Look here, these are buds and these are covered by the sepals. So, sepals are protective in function. But all the sepals of all the flowers are not similar. Sometimes all the sepals of a flower are fused together to form a tube like structure. Let us see the example here. Again the flower of China rose. Here you can see that the sepals have been fused. They are free only at the tips, but below the tips they are fused to make a tube. Such a condition makes the flower gamosepalous. Gamosepalous means sepals fused. Example, China rose. While in others the sepals are not fused and they are lying separately or freely from each other. Such a condition makes the flower polysepalous. Here you can see all the sepals of this flower are separate. They are not joined. This one is separate from the other one. All are free. So, such a situation makes the flower polysepalous. Can you give me another example of a very common flower that is polysepalous? Yes, you can see in the picture also that it is the rose. Here we can see large sepals which are totally free and not fused, right? Just as the calyx shows gamosepalous and polysepalous condition, the corolla also shows variation. Corolla means the petals. So, when the flowers are gamopetalous, the petals are fused, They might be free at the tips, but they form tubes all through their body. So, these three are the examples, while other flowers are polypetalous. Polypetalous means that the petals are free and they are not united. Most of the flowers that I have shown you today are polypetalous. That is, the petals are free, they are not jointed. See, these petals, they are not jointed, they are free. So, they are polypetalous flowers. Aestivation. Have you heard this term before? Aestivation? Well, when the sepals or petals are free, they will be arranged in some pattern, one way or the other. So, aestivation is the study of that particular pattern in which sepals and petals are arranged in a whorl. If we look for the proper definition that is given in the NCERT, it says aestivation is the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in a floral bud with respect to other members of the same whorl. Okay. So, whether a petal is touching other petal or not, or whether it is overlapping the other petal, or whether it is completely overlapping other petal, this is how different patterns are arranged, and this study is the aestivation. Aestivation is the mode of arrangement of petals or sepals in the floral bud with respect to the members of the same whorl. If we are talking about sepals, we will see whether the sepals are overlapping or not, whether they are free or not. Similarly, if we are talking about petals, we will see whether the petals are overlapping each other, touching each other, or completely shadowing each other. So, there are many different types of aestivations. This is the diagram that is given in your NCERT book, which shows the volvate aestivation, where the petals or the sepals do not touch each other, they are present at one radius, like the periphery of a circle. While the second example is that of twisted aestivation, where one edge of a petal or sepal overlaps that of the other. So, this is twisted aestivation. Imbricate. In imbricate aestivation, what happens that petals or sepals do overlap each other, but not in any proper order. Some petals or sepals may be totally inside, overlapped by both the sides. Some may be totally outside, overlapping other two petals, or some may be in the twisted aestivation, that is being overlapped on one side and not on the other. This is imbricate aestivation, and this one last is very typical. It is called the vexillary aestivation, and it is shown only by the members of Fabaceae family, and this aestivation is also known as papilionaceous flowers. Why? Because there is this one outermost petal which is known as standard, and it encloses two lateral wings which further enclose two wings which make up the keel, and these two wings are jointed together. It becomes very complicated if we try to understand them like this. And what will you do if you are supposed to draw these diagrams in a jiffy in the exam? You might take a lot of time to draw these diagrams if you have not practiced. So, I will help you to learn how can we draw these aestivations quickly. As you can see, for beginning, we can initially draw very faded circles in pencil if we have to draw the aestivation, and these circles can be rubbed off later. Initially, this will help us to make clear and accurate diagrams. Suppose first of all we have to show volvate aestivation. Let us begin. So, in volvate aestivation, the petals or the sepals do not overlap each other at all, and we will draw a pentamerous flower here. So, this makes the 5 petals. Now, we will draw them like this. Take a center point and extend the line here. Take the center point of this arc and extend the lines here like this. In this manner, you can easily and very cleanly draw the volvate aestivation. Well, this was the easiest of all? No. All others are also very easy, as you will see. Now, let us try to make the twisted aestivation. Again, the key is to draw the first circle properly. So, we will show 5 petals with 5 broken lines on the periphery of a circle. This was the first petal, this was the second, the third, the fourth and the fifth. Now, we have to show the overlapping edges. So, let us begin. Again, let us mark the center point of each of these arcs first, so that our diagram stays clean and does not get messy. Now, we will draw this arc like this and show the overlapping here. So, what are we doing? We are making the overlaps with the help of the other arcs that we are drawing. That is it. So, in this way we have drawn 5 overlapping petals where one end is being overlapped by the other. Then you can give finishing touches to your diagram and you are good to go. This is twisted aestivation. The twisted aestivation. Now, the last of all is imbricate. Let us try to draw the imbricate also. Again, we will begin with the broken lines of a circle to show 5 petals. Here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now, how will we draw imbricate? One petal should be inside, that is overlapped on both the sides, and one is to be outside, that is it should be overlapping at both the ends. So, let us make the one which is to be inside. Take out the center of the arc and bring it here. Drawing the floral diagrams is one of very important exercise for description of flowers. You cannot always go on drawing the flowers. It is a very cumbersome exercise. It will take lot of time and energy, and even then, despite those efforts, the result may not always be accurate. But if you draw the floral diagram, you can easily convey whatever you want to explain about that flower or aestivation for that matter, as the case is here. Okay. Now, the twisted one. Another one which is twisted. And the last one which is twisted. And this leaves us with this having both edges outside. So, easily we have drawn. You can later on give the finishing touches to make your diagram more presentable, but Scientifically, this is a correct diagram. Here both the ends are being overlapped, here both the ends are overlapping, and these 3 petals are twisted. I hope this little exercise has helped you to learn to draw the aestivations in the floral diagrams. This is imbricate aestivation. I would like to tell you that practicing making the aestivations will help you in writing the floral formula and drawing the floral diagrams also, which is very important. Now, after having completed to learn to draw the aestivations, let us move on to the next whorl of the flower, which is the androecium. Androecium, as I had told you earlier, is the male whorl. Now, male whorl consists of stamens. Let us learn to draw the stamens also very quickly. So, each stamen has 2 lobes of an anther and a long filament. This is a stamen with anther and the filament. So, the stamens have anthers with 2 lobes, and each lobe has pollen sacs which produce pollen. This was about the androecium, and let us conclude today's class here only at the study of androecium. In the next class that will follow this class, we will learn about the variations that can be present in the androecium. We will also study about the gynoecium and the possible variations, followed by the description of fruit, the seed, and we will also learn to describe or give semi-technical description of some flowers. We will learn about making the floral diagram as well as the floral formula. Thank you.